Good afternoon, my name is Ola Tamanova and it's my pleasure to see everybody who joins us in Ukraine Media Center Ukraine Forum today. It's day 594 of the full-scale invasion of our homeland by Russian aggressors, and now we will be talking about the situation in Zhytomyr region. Joining us online is Vitalii Bunechko, the military governor of the Zhytomyr region. Good afternoon, Mr. Vitalii. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Vitalii. I would like to start our conversation with those repairs of critical infrastructure, the important facilities of critical infrastructure. So what is the condition of the critical infrastructure of the region for the time being? Well, in reality, we were approaching to the beginning of the heating season on the peak, so to say, and I would like to report that we technically are fully prepared. We have fully prepared our equipment and the networks for the heating season. Talking about the repairs, what you've asked, all the repair works are completed on the gas transportation system, electricity transportation system. All of our systems, all of our organizations are equipped with the reserve power sources for the cases of electricity shutdowns. Well, on the example of previous winter, we understand what are the challenges we should prepare for, and according to the data from the National Electricity Regulation Commission, Zhytomyr region has passed the last season with the lowest number of complaints for operation of the power grid, and we were able to balance it during the previous season. Also, I would like to emphasize that our socially important facilities, the hospitals, for example, where those who need special attention are located, are completely ready for possible emergencies. Yet another challenge is the protection of critical infrastructure facilities. We were feeling the way the enemy inflicts strikes on our critical infrastructure facilities, and now we practically have fully resumed the operation of all of our facilities. We currently deepen the cooperation between the units of security and defense forces of Zhytomyr region. We focus on the air defense and physical protection of the critical infrastructure facilities. On top of that, the engineering protection of critical infrastructure facilities is something that we work on reinforcing on daily basis. We improve the operation and training of our air defense. We have meetings with the military where we discuss our possible weak links during the trainings, and we come to understanding that the heating season is a priority for us, and we will take all necessary and reasonable steps to make sure that the denizens of Zhytomyr region don't feel any misbalance. Thank you, Mr. Vitalii. I would like to ask you about the humanitarian and social situation in the region. What is it like? What's going on with the internally displaced persons? What is their number that you can observe in the region? And what kind of support could are you providing? Were the internally displaced persons able to adapt in the Zhytomyr region? Oh yes, obviously we have currently more than 60,000 internally displaced persons living in Zhytomyr region. They receive all the necessary support both from the Ukrainian government and international organizations. Many people got employed and socialized, so to say, in our Zhytomyr region. And now they see themselves as the denizens of our region. I would like to say that in case of escalation, we're ready, and we were already going through that experience, because Zhytomyr was a hub when the enemy was bombing Borodyanka, the north of Kyiv region. People were living Borodyanka, Makariv, Hostomel, and they were staying in Zhytomyr region. And I would like to say that on the peak we had about 110,000 internally displaced persons, so we keep 50,000 more available places for the case of escalation in the north and south of our country. I want to assure you that people used to receive and continue receiving all the necessary support contemplated for the internally displaced people. Well, and talking about the business, how do you feel? Did the business resume its normal operation? And what is going on with the budget? Because we understand that it's critically important for the economic development of the region. Well, talking about the budget, I would like to say that Zhytomyr region is the most militarized region of our country. We have the biggest percentage of mobilized both men and women. And it has become such an impetus for development of economy. It's a pleasure for me to state that all the businesses have come back and resumed normal operation to the extent possible under conditions of war, and we have even overpayment of taxes paid by the military. We currently under receive those funds because they are channeled at development of our defense. We are ready for that. We created the stabilization fund, and we are ready to pass the end of this year and the next year without the funds that were incoming from the military. Mr. Vitalii, I would like to touch upon the topic of education, the curriculum process. How is it organized in the region? Were you able to transfer a part of the school children to offline mode? Well, I would like to say that it's not a fraction. We have about 92-93% of school children studying offline, and that minor fraction are the educational institutions that we were not able to equip and outfit the bomb shelters, but we keep working actively in that area, and our task is to make sure that our children study safely. This is our priority, and I'm sure we are about to make it. We develop different mechanisms to ensure the security and safety of our school children, and it's my pleasure to state that all the school children, all the students of higher educational institutions are able to attend our educational institutions offline. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. If we have any questions on the floor, please introduce yourself and ask your questions. Good afternoon, Olga Apanasenko, Ukrinform. I would like to ask you about the repairs. On the 30th of August, the court removed the mention of Verkhovsky Tereshchenko in Chervone, and we know that when it was in ownership of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate, the structure degraded. So are there any construction works underway there? Thank you very much for this question. It's really very important. At the same time, I would like to say that the funds were not envisaged for that repair, and now we are developing a plan how we can start, maybe preserve, make a conservation of that facility, because nobody was doing anything there, but we need to preserve that architectural monument to make sure that after the end of the war we can renew it and to make it such a touristic magnet for Zhytomyr region. Not only this castle, but many more other architectural monuments that exist in Zhytomyr region. We have more questions on the floor. Please.
Hi.
I'm a journalist, but I'm also an electrical infrastructure specialist as well, from Australia and New Zealand. I was in Zhytomyr. I didn't see a rapid response crew system in case your gas, power and water systems get destroyed by the enemy. Do you have backup systems in case substations are destroyed, so you can then use them, have a backup substation to then take up the power load, and then have a repair crew that can respond quickly to destruction of facilities.
Thank you for such an important question. I would like to start with water supply. We were seeing the examples of Mykolaiv and Kryvyi Rih, and I would like to assure you that we work through possible consequences of emergencies in our water supply facilities. We contemplated the logistics for supply of water, specifically the potable water. We work on what is necessary to be done to secure our water supply facilities. We ensure their physical protection, and talking about the power grid, unfortunately I cannot disclose all the details, but we continue on rebuilding. We really have reserves. We have transformers that we will be able to use in case of destruction or damage of our existing transformers, just in the way it used to happen during the previous season. Thank you very much, Mr. Vitalii. And the last question is about the rebuilding of residential areas. We understand that it's not only critical infrastructure that is damaged during the enemy strikes. Were you able to rebuild the residential areas? Yes, we continue to react to this. Unfortunately, back in May, when our residential areas were suffering from the damage from detonations, there was a strike on one of the storage facilities, but I would like to report that what was possible to rebuild, we were always focusing on the windows, on the doors, the roofs, to make sure that people still feel comfortable. And something that was destroyed to the ground, we're awaiting the funds from the state budget for rebuilding. And on top of that, I would like to emphasize the program Shoulder to Shoulder, where we help to rebuild the residential areas in Kherson region. And it's my pleasure to state that it's not only the denizens of Zhytomyr region who receive or get their houses rebuilt, but we can also help our citizens in Ukraine, our neighbors, to rebuild their homes in Novovasilievka in Kherson region. Thank you very much for joining our broadcast. I'm reminding you, dear colleagues, joining us was Vitalii Bunechko, the head of Zhytomyr Regional Military Administration, and we continue working together for the sake of our victory. We want to thank our security and defense forces, and glory to Ukraine.